Hi guys, we're going to be talking about forgiveness, and this is a real deep topic. I mean, as close to human nature as we can get. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what forgiveness means to me and how that's kind of changed in my life. Obviously, as a little kid, forgiveness comes easily. We all feel that way, I think. My mom, in particular, is a very forgiving, lighthearted person, and she taught me, don't sweat the small stuff. Look at the bigger picture. Like, be grateful for what we have, and in the moment, how we feel. So as a child, I kind of saw, watching my mom, her not holding on to grudges and forgiving people, but also being extremely harsh on herself and being her worst critic, in the form of holding it inside of her body. And she had a lot of crying things that happened on a daily basis. So I think that was just her not forgiving herself, but being the gracious person she is, it's easier for her to forgive other people. So I think that I carried that into my adulthood, and it was a lot easier for me to forgive other people than it is to forgive myself. And through reading books and meeting and being surrounded by extremely emotionally intelligent people, have learned to give to myself and receive in that way. When they talk about the right side of the body being stuck, it's because we're having a hard time receiving. And if it's the left side of the body that's stuck, then it's the side it's hard for them to give. And then they talk about the chakras of the body, those different wheels of energy that hover around our aura. And I feel like when I have something weighing on my heart that I need to forgive somebody, or I need to forgive myself, or I'm wanting forgiveness for myself, I feel it right here. And that might be different for other people. But it's interesting that doTERRA chose the color green for the label for the essential oil Forgive, thinking about the heart chakra. So I'm going to touch on a couple of different things and some tools that you guys can be using in conjunction with the essential oil blend Forgive. One is the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, and it's one that one of my Rolfing clients had told me about, and then I ended up going and I read the book about it. It was about a mental institution, a criminal mental institution in Hawaii, and there was a high turnover of administration. They couldn't keep a director of the program. They were stocked full. There was just way too many patients. It was really scary hallways. The administrators would just try to get to their office and not make eye contact. And then this man, he came in and he became the new director. And what he did was he took all the files of every patient that was there, and he just stayed in his office for a month. And he just looked at each file and each person's picture, and he would say over and over to their picture, to the energy of the person, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And he just said it over and over and over to each file, and he did that for a month. And then the administration saw this huge shift in how everybody was reacting to each other. And within a year, they had released more than half of the people, the patients there, and the administration was happier. And eventually, over a 10-year period, they closed that facility because it wasn't even needed anymore. So just one example of the strength of one human, one body, one energy that can affect so many people in a positive way. So when we are holding on to something in that moment, maybe we don't know we're mad at somebody. Maybe we don't know that emotion is going to come up until we see them or until we hear something about them. In that thought, in that moment, you can just say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I've even done that for people that I'm feeling like I'm mad at them. maybe, you know, like, it's not my fault, but I don't want to hold that inside my body, because that I don't want that in my reality. That's free rent in my head that they're not paying. I have more important things to do than stay in that space of anger. And I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in forgiveness. So that's a really healthy thing to do. Another thing that you can do, an exercise in, if you really have a lot that maybe you don't know, but maybe we can just all do this together, is just write it all out on a piece of paper, the things that you want to forgive yourself for. I forgive myself, you know, for letting myself down in my workout or whatever, you know, 100 things that we feel like maybe we've been holding inside our body. And then do another piece of paper for each person maybe that you have these feelings for, and then burn it. Let's just burn it. And then you can say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you just say that over and over to that person in your head, or you can just say it in real life in an authentic way. Some really great books and resources toward healing that I have found. Anything by Deborah King. One of her really great ones is Be Your Own Shaman. I found a lot from that, and that speaks to the chakras, and also coming from a Christian background. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all the small stuff. Just let that water roll off the duck's back, because life is short. That's a really great book too. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all the small stuff. So with talking about the forgive oil, let me pull that up on my computer here and I can read it to you, because the way that doTERRA wrote it was really beautiful. Are you carrying a burden that grows heavier with time? Would you be better off just letting it go and facing a future unfettered by anger and guilt? When you are ready to move forward, doTERRA Forgive Renewing Blend of tree and herb essential oils will help you discover the liberating action of forgiving, forgetting, and moving on. Start each of your tomorrows relieved and contented with Forgive Renewing Blend, featuring spruce leaf, bergamot peel, juniper berry fruit, myrrh resin, arbor vitae wood, Nootka tree wood, thyme leaf, and citronella herb. And how you can use them is diffuse when meditating to help release harboring feelings of anger and guilt. Apply to pulse points and heart throughout the day to feel grounded and content. Have doTERRA Forgive on hand throughout the day to counteract negative emotions that may arise from undesirable situations. So, one thing that I want to say is people that I've met that are holding old anger, it happens to be around right here. So if you need to forgive yourself, then why don't we just take a few drops of Forgive, and we're just going to massage it right where we feel that pain. And I've got that advice from a friend of mine. She said, put it on where it hurts. Maybe that's where you're holding that anger. It worked. Love it. It's just another tool in your toolbox of releasing emotion and being the person that you really want to be, and not being held back by the past. You know, the more we live in the present, the better. And also, your thoughts and feelings aren't you. Did you know that? You have a subconscious and an ego going on in your brain. Your subconscious is the one that lives in the present. That's the most powerful, loving thing that's inside of your head, inside of your body. But your thoughts, that thing that thinks about the conversation you had with the bank owner, you know, or whoever earlier the day, you know, thinking about the person that cut you off, that's your ego. And so if you catch yourself in that thinking about what happened yesterday or whatever, that's not you at all. That's your ego. So just recognize and acknowledge, like, oh, that's not me. Moving forward, let's stay in the present. And then breathe your oil. Breathing in the essential oils, those aromatic compounds are going and it's crossing through the blood barrier of your brain and balancing your hormonal receptors. So, you know, if you can help train your brain to remember, like, hey, that ego's not me. Okay, now smell this. The fastest way you can retrain your brain is through smell. So I hope that this information helps you. All of this has really helped me. And moving forward, loving this emotions camp. Okay, thanks guys.